Question. So, what did this New York City girl do when she found herself facing a whole bunch of apples? What am I talking about? Back in a minute. Hey, good morning. Good morning. This is Jan from New York City, and I love helping people to keep some more of their own hard earned money. Now, living in the Big Apple and having great apples grow here, especially in the fall when you get those fall apples. Oh, really, really nice. I found myself facing a whole bunch of apples, and I didn't want to waste them. And for some reason or another, the people that I asked, would you like a few? They were like, oh, no, they just didn't feel like eating apples. I don't know why. So I said, well, you don't like food waste now, do you? So I decided to do something that I never did before. And I could thank a wonderful video. There are so many videos when you don't know what to do with something. And it inspired me to make a simple thing called applesauce. I never realized, and I always loved applesauce. And my entire life, I had applesauce, of course, from a jar. I always thought that applesauce was born in jars. No, no, no. I know people make it. Could that be you? Do you make your own homemade applesauce? And by the way, let me know in the comments section below, what do you do when you face having too many apples, too many oranges, too many of this and that, especially with fresh produce, because you don't want food waste. But here's the beauty part of apples in general. And this is just a money keeping thought. So if your family does enjoy apples, the beauty part is that apples do last, their shelf life is a lot better than, let's say, other types of fruits that go bad really, really fast. Like, in my opinion, strawberries do not have that long of a shelf life. And they're very expensive too, unless you get a good deal on them. I'm just saying, just saying. All right. So I was faced with this dilemma. I couldn't tell you how many pounds of apples I had. I wouldn't know. I did not know that offhand. Let's just say that I was facing about 20 small and medium sized apples. It was a mixed bag with types of apples, all kinds of apples. I had Macintosh in there. I had honey. I think they call it honey crisp. Yeah. I did not have any golden delicious. Those are good though. There was another kind. I guess it was, I don't know, maybe they call it red delicious, I think, something like that. Whatever it was a mixed bag. And I was not about to waste it. So, of course, I went on to, on here on this platform on YouTube. And I said, well, how do I make applesauce? I did not realize how simple. I mean, I figured it should be kind of sort of simple, but the method is simple, but the labor is work. The method is simple, but the labor is work. What do I mean by that? The most gist of the hard work is peeling and coring the apples, honestly. So if you have one of those mechanisms by which you can easily, I don't know, turn a crank or something and it peels and cores your apple, yay, you're a winner, winner, apple dinner. But I didn't have such a device. So I was the chief executive officer of peeling and coring the apples. Listen, this is a very inexpensive recipe. So I'm going to link up to you in the description box the actual video that inspired me, that I followed the recipe to make it. And it was very clearly explained. But I mean, as far as like what you need to make this applesauce, it is really very, very simple. But can I tell you, man, oh man, there's no flavor like something fresh. There's no, like, I was considering doing an apple crisp, but then I said, you know what? I want something a little, I've done apple crisp before and everything. I said, I want to try something different. I know one thing, I wasn't about to waste it. I dislike food waste. I think it's a terrible, terrible thing. What some people consider a feast, some other people consider time to go in the trash. And that's sad. Do me a favor today. Look around your refrigerator, which I know everybody's refrigerator is spotless and perfectly organized. Everybody listening has the most perfectly organized and most spotless refrigerator on planet Earth, right? There you go. Well, if that's not quite the case, maybe it's about 85% great, and that's okay because we're always checking. But all jokes aside, take a look at some stuff in your refrigerator today. Why am I saying this? There might be some foods that are, well, on their way out, on their way out to the almost expiration thing. We don't like food waste. I certainly know that you don't like food waste. So I said, well, let me do something outside the box and make this applesauce. So, like I said, the majority of the work was sitting around peeling and coring. And I says, oh boy, one day I may be considering that little mechanism that you use. But the end result was quite delicious. So I had myself an applesauce for a few days. Applesauce is a wonderful little thing to go on the side. Let's say you had pork chops for dinner, right? Or even just like chicken cutlets or something to that effect. Or even like some people have fried chicken, okay, things of that nature. The applesauce on the side sort of like cuts that like greasy feel of what you're eating. It does. It really does. And it tastes so, so good. Sometimes people have, okay, let's move away from the apples for a moment. Sometimes people have carrots that are like, well, now, if you see that a carrot feels like it's no longer feeling crispy anymore and it feels like it's bending a little bit, like almost like soft, to me, it doesn't matter because I would still use it and I would still absolutely use that kind of a carrot inside of a soup or a stew. Why would I waste it? I don't believe in food waste. That's why we have to stay on top of our produce inventory. This is a very important thing. So I'm trying to remember offhand. I think the ingredients, of course, obviously the star of the show was apples, right? Okay, so it doesn't matter what kind of apples, apples. Basically, it was apples, a little lemon juice, if I'm not mistaken, sugar. She didn't mention, I don't remember the lady mentioning cinnamon. But I think that to me, the flavors of apple and cinnamon, in my honest taster's choice opinion, apples and cinnamon flavored together is definitely a match made in heaven. Who agrees with me out there? Who likes apple with cinnamon? And this applesauce, by the way, you don't have to just eat it as a standalone plain. You can actually like add this to, let's say, your plain Greek vanilla yogurt or your plain yogurt to give it a little pizzazz. That's something good. Oh, the other thing is about the texture. And the lady on the video said, you know, you can make the texture as thin as you want, like almost like a puree type thing, or you could leave it a little bit chunky. So what I did, mine was a little bit of both. So I had a little bit of texture and a little bit of the puree type feel to it. But at the end of the day, I can tell you this much, it was delish. So even if you don't do something normally, think outside of the box and definitely try to avoid food waste. It was really delicious. Would I do it again? Yes. Even if I don't have the mechanism that cores and peels, I still would do it again. It's a great way to save some money and have a little fun with your own homemade applesauce. Listen, I want to thank everybody for being here, but please don't forget to do this. Time you click the like button, the algorithm pushes the video up further, and other people that never normally would get to see this might get to see this and might get to use some of my helpful tips and tricks. And I really thank you for it. Let's end this video with a very calming video here. I love this. Hang on. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care of yourselves and each other.